Well, welcome back to the Harpers Ferry train room, and today's video will feature an update on what we've been working on the layout. A little bit of an update. I'd like to thank everyone who's recently subscribed. I've got over 500 subscribers at this point, or maybe a little bit more, and I'm really super excited. I went out and I got myself a B&O hat to celebrate, to go along with my B&O t-shirt. And so I will be featuring lots of different things in the videos and to come. Most notably, we'll start getting to some scenery. We've got the layout is 24 feet long by about 12 feet wide. I think at the widest point it's maybe 8 feet wide. It features a 072 loop with an 063 loop on the inside. Some of the larger curves are 070, 0108, like right there at the viaduct. And I'm using number 5 switches and just plain old 72 switches as well. At one point or another, there have been 3 bridges that run railroads across this Potomac River crossing. This first bridge here in the front is not prototypical. It was actually a bowling truss bridge, which I hope to recreate and replace the silver MTH bridge that I'm using right now. One of the most iconic features of the Harpers Ferry area is that there's a large mountain, which I hope to build here, which I plan to build, and there's a portal that says Harpers Ferry on it, and the train goes through the tunnel, comes out on the other end, and eventually makes its way down to Point of Rocks on the B&O line. I have 2 different levels of this layout. There's an upper level, which is up on 2-inch foam that I use to elevate the track in certain sections. And then there's a lower section, which is running on the base of the layout. And that lower section is also where the tracks originally ran at a lower elevation. Later on, they added more elevation, and when they added the additional bridges, they made that a little higher. I'm using that to my advantage to create kind of a stadium effect so that the tracks in the back are a little higher than the tracks in the front so that you can see the trains when they're passing each other. Underneath the track, I'm going to be using the Woodland Scenics 1/8-inch foam, which will give me a little bit of a road bed so that when I run ballast, it'll elevate the track a little bit and it'll give me those slope sides that are so typical that you see with ballasted track. To make the changes in elevation, I'm using a 3% grade change flexible foam that's available from Woodland Scenics, and you can see it's flexible. I will, glue and screw that down into place once I'm settled with the track locations, and that's working out very well because that allowed me to make the grades very even without having to fabricate that out of wood. To cut the pink foam so that there were spaces for the track and to make these curves, initially I did it physically with a knife and kind of sawed my way through it, which kind of took a while. Later I bought this foam cutter, which came with other attachments for different shapes and for cutting foam. I like this particular attachment because it worked very well for cutting the foam. The pink foam is a little bit more resistant to cutting, but as you can see, this kind of just goes right through it. And there it goes. First off, when you come into the layout, you see a mess of wires and transformers and TIUs and Trainmaster units and remotes and all of this stuff that I'm using to test out the track, to get some power to the track. And this is not where it's going to end up in the long run. pretty sure I'm going to put a control panel on this between these two different boards here, and so that'll be a nice location, and I'll build a shelf out so that the transformer can sit on top of that. Real proud of this viaduct bridge. It came out really nice. I still, you know, have some details I want to do underneath, you know, the arches, and I finished it off for now with a stone paint, spray paint that gives it, you know, some nice presence. And I've also painted just the upper deck with just a flat black, so that, you know, any part of the deck that shows through after I've done ballasting, you know, won't show too well.